Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on our Facebook live session today on our discussion, You Are Not Alone. Alhamdulillah, I'm Puan Anita, the president of MIASA, and I will be moderating the session today. And hopefully providing some insights as needed along this discussion as much as I can. And of course, hari ini bersama saya kita ada Ustaz Muhammad Noor Deros, our Vice President 2 of MIASA, dan juga Dr Hazli Zakaria, a Clinical Psychiatrist who is also the President of the Malaysian Psychiatric Association, dan juga dah buka klinik sendiri, Alaminda Healthcare. Alhamdulillah. How are you, Ustaz, and also Dr Hazli?
Good, Alhamdulillah. Tahniah Dr Hazli. Congratulations.
Yang dah lama belum officially launch. Nanti kita launch lepas MCO. Bila tak tahulah tu.
Itulah dia. So Alhamdulillah. So for today's discussion on this topic, You Are Not Alone. Of course, obviously we're all going through a very tough time kan sekarang ni, Ustaz and also Doctor, in Malaysia, across the globe. So still in the pandemic of COVID-19, still within the challenges that the pandemic has brought forth with the measures of the lockdown. Sekarang ni pun kita dalam EMCO, a lot of the parts in Selangor, dekat KL, Terengganu, a lot of other places juga. And obviously today, since kita dah setahun lebih dalam pandemik, dah beberapa kali dalam fasa PKP, the economy has been impacted greatly, hence a lot of people have lost jobs, lost source of income. Kita tengok ramai di community that are struggling. The numbers are out. 600,000 from the M40 group telah pun jatuh kepada golongan B40, and we can clearly see this as well. A lot of businesses have closed down, so a lot of people are obviously out of jobs. Tak ada makanan, tak ada basic needs. Di MIASA juga, a lot of people have reached out to us, tidak dapat membayar sewa rumah, dan kemudian akhirnya they are on the streets at the moment. So there's a lot of grief happening at the moment kan, Dr. Hazli, Ustaz. Now with the increasing numbers of COVID-19, kita dah melepasi the 11,000 mark. That is a very, very high number. Kadar jangkitan COVID-19 juga sangat tinggi. Many new variants at the moment, which we don't know whether the current vaccine, walaupun ramai yang dah ambil double dose kan, whether we are protected from the new variants or not. And then of course, those that have gone through COVID-19, banyak complications, mental health are impacted greatly. And of course, kita jangan lupa kepada wira-wirawati, pejuang barisan hadapan yang sangat terkesan sekarang ni. The health system is overburdened, everyone is overwhelmed, everyone is stretched very thin. NGOs on the ground, we are stretched very thin at the moment. Ustaz, Dr. Hazli, for the information of everyone that are watching. Obviously, our health minister recently revealed the numbers kan. People that have called in via the psychosocial support helpline of MOH and Mercy, Talian Kasih, Jakim punya helpline, 120,000+, 91.2% asking for emotional support and psychosocial help. MIASA sendiri daripada August last year sampai July 2nd, we have tallied our numbers 43,000. Can you imagine? That's a huge number. Reaching out to us via so many different platforms, phone calls, WhatsApp, social media, virtual sessions, emails. So all in all, 43,000 ni adalah lebih daripada 2 kali lipat ganda. Not only MIASA, befrienders reflected the same numbers as well. MMHA juga sama, and I believe many on the ground at the moment. So with this current situation, frontliners being burnt out, a lot of people going through a lot of mental health struggles at the moment. What are we looking at, Dr. Hazli and Ustaz? Maybe if you guys can share your thoughts on the current situation. Kita nak tengok kan, what is the silver lining? Sebab kita nampak macam tak ada kesudahan ni. Orang dah tak nampak jalan keluar tu. kita semua nak prasangka baik, kita semua nak kekal, orang kata kuat kan Ustaz, kita nak lawan, sebab we have to come together right now collectively. This is the only way we can beat this virus. This is the only way, you know, we can all come back to a little bit of normalcy. Tapi kita macam tak nampak ni, jauh ni Ustaz sebenarnya sekarang ni. Jadi mungkin Ustaz boleh mulakan sedikit you know, some views on what is currently happening, Ustaz.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. First and foremost, thank you, Puan Anita, for your relentless effort in combating stigma on mental illness and helping those who are in need in this current pandemic. And thank you also for Dr. Hazli for all your works. I believe many people have benefited from both of you and from MIASA. And inshallah, we are also trying our best to extend our help to as many people as we can with all the restrictions in our own resources and our own timing. We'll try our best, inshallah. One thing's for sure, you are not alone, inshallah. Okay? You are not alone. We will try our best. We will try our best, inshallah. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen our frontliners and everyone who is involved. Because there will be emotional up and downs. People will start doubting. And sometimes you will see the silver lining, but sometimes it is not there. So it is our hope in the higher power that can, inshallah, sustain us in this journey, inshallah. So I believe that as a Muslim, whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us this tribulation, or any great trials in life, it is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do differently. It is always that. You know, of course, we have to continue praying, we have to continue asking, we need to continue to do good. But in the same time, when there is a test and when the test persists, yeah, there is a signal from God, inshallah. I believe. I do not speak to Allah, but this is what I assume, that there's some things that we are still not doing it right. Okay, so we have to, why I say that this is a silver lining, because it is somewhat in our power. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given it in our aql, in our power, that you can do it right, but you have to search which part yang you buat salah, kan, that you kena perbetulkan. So we need to do a constant state of muhasabah, not only in the medical sector, but also the religious sector, economic, social. Ada benda yang kita buat salah ni. Sampai dia bukan setakat stay like that, dia menaik sekarang ni.
Betul.
We can say that we are in the worst period throughout one year plus ni. Ini paling teruk sekali. Banyak orang yang rasa boleh go through pun dah start lemah sekarang ni. As you said, ramai dah masuk ke B40 sekarang ni. So ini peluang kita muhasabah. Dan I believe if we do the muhasabah sungguh-sungguh, sincerely, we will find it. Cuma sincerity tu mungkin wallahu alam, I cannot judge everyone, but as a nation, are we looking at the right thing? Adakah kita telah memfokuskan kita punya muhasabah tu kepada priority kita yang paling tepat sekali? I don't know, this is a question. Yes, that we can discuss.
So, thank you very much, Ustaz. I think that's a very interesting point, Ustaz. Sebabnya, if I bring it into the context of challenges with a mental health disorder, kan Ustaz, apabila kita melalui tadi, interesting, Dr. Hazli was sharing before our live session, going through rock bottoms, kan Ustaz. Sebabnya, I remember when I was going through the rock bottoms as well, I questioned myself, Ustaz, why am I still in this situation? Why am I not coming out of it? So there must be some lessons that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants me to learn that I'm not learning. So, you know, in line with what you just shared, I think this is absolutely true. And also kan Dr. Hazli, kalau kita tengok baru-baru ni, even through obviously WHO kan every single day providing reminders to nations across the world, governments across the world. And recently what WHO was saying about, this is a situation where all of us, you know, all governments across the world, sepatutnya kita tidak berada dalam situasi ni because we have the tools at hand. Tapi sebenarnya kita kelang kabut nak uplift, kita risau tentang ekonomi, everyone wants to come back to normalcy, tetapi with the tools at hand, bermaksud the vaccination, bermaksud social distancing at an individual level. Sebenarnya banyak perkara yang kita mampu lakukan tetapi mungkin kita tak laksanakan dengan baik. Adakah mungkin kita gopoh, Dr. Hazli? Tetapi kita secara tidak sedar, this parallel pandemic is so clear, sangat jelas sekarang ni. We have the pandemic of COVID-19, kita ada the pandemic of mental health. Kita tengok dekat Malaysia, kita tak payah tengok jauh, Dr. Hazli. Suicide risk have increased. The rocketing numbers of suicide. Kita nampak suicide contagion tengah berlaku, suicide copycats tengah berlaku sekarang ni, Dr. Hazli. And every single day, MIASA tries to educate the public. I know sometimes it's not done deliberately. Kita masih tetap berkongsi gambar-gambar, video-video of people attempting, people dying via suicide when it creates so much harm. Jadi mungkin Dr. Hazli boleh bagi pencerahan kepada mereka yang menonton, dan semoga kita kongsikan sejauh-jauh, seluas-luas yang mungkin within the reach of every person in Malaysia, supaya kita dapat sama-sama combat it, because suicide should be everyone's business. Jadi mungkin Dr. Hazli boleh sedikit saranan ya.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, Anita, Ustaz. Macam Ustaz katalah, semua orang sibuk kan. Macam mana nak tahu sibuk, how busy we are. And the reason that I say yes when Anita asked me whether I want to come to join this forum, this is the only time I can see Ustaz Muhammad Noor. Otherwise, he's very busy. And then to call also cannot. So this is the only time I can see Ustaz Noor face and Anita punya face. Otherwise, they are busy doing things to help other people, to help the people in the community. So this is really the time that everyone will really need to help each other. Okay, and then just now Ustaz mentioned about the silver lining. Anita mentioned about the hit the rock bottom, and then what are the things that what are the silver lining that happened right now? Unfortunately, some of them we are not able to appreciate that yet. Anita, it's not there yet. But again, so in fact, this is an opportunity for us to really to have to reflect on what's going on with Earth, within our family, within our country. So we're talking about silver lining, how to make us feel hopeful, how to make us feel that we are positive. But the fact that the silver lining is we cannot be overly positive right now, because if we want to continue be positive, is not what it's supposed to be. What we have to be is more balance between positive and the reality. We have to accept the fact that all of us are tired. All of us are kind of like exhausted. Why can't we accept that? Why can't we see that? But at the same time, we try to find what are the things that can make us feel a little bit better, little bit calm, little bit hopeful. So that is important for us to have a balance. And then how to make us hopeful is not we have to be something big. It's not about whether we can have I Sinar or I Mala or whatever I that we should get, but the fact that we able to still be surrounded by family members who are not positive with COVID, of course, not positive, COVID positive. That is a blessing right now. So how can we appreciate that? Remember when we were in MCO 1, we started to be very anxious. We start to pack all the groceries. Right now, we don't have money to buy the groceries. But when we look where we were compared to where we are now, we feel that we are much better then, right? But at that time, did we have a kind of being grateful for what we have then? No, we were very anxious, very scared. We are so uncertain what's going on. But until now, we are still uncertain. But now we are not just uncertain, but we feel exhausted as well. Therefore, we should be very grateful during the MCO 1. So what I'm trying to say, we do not know what's going to be in the future, right? So right now, what we have, can we just try to make a full use what we have, and then try to be as much as we can. But at the same time, it doesn't we just have to berdoa sahaja without any effort. So the effort is still, I mean, there is still a way how we can improve. We need to think outside the box. We need to go back to the time that we have to work this together. But understandable, yeah, at this moment when everyone kind of tired, exhausted, we tend to be individualistic again. We are just going to focus what in our table, what we are going to eat with our family without thinking much about our neighbors. But unfortunately, that is the time when we need to think about our neighbors, our taman, our kampung. But naturally, this is the time that everyone going to just fight for themselves and to survive. But the opposite that we need to do is we need to go back and follow what we were in MCO1, which is kita jaga kita. We have to build up the spirit where we used to be. So this is that is where the bendera putih comes. The semangat, the spirit of bendera putih is to remind us that we need to be together again. So that is what we need to. Again, this pandemic asks us to reflect. They force every one of us to take this time to reflect what had happened or what we were before. Yeah, that is the time that we need to see. There are many things that we need to change, to modify. So the mental health, for example, our level of mental health was not very good before, even before pandemic. And then this pandemic kind of revealed it. Without this, we are not going to know, to realize that the incident, the prevalence of depression is already high, even before pandemic. So that could be the silver lining, that we need to come to the reality and do something about it once the pandemic is over. And then, for example, Anita mentioned about panic disorder, yeah? Someone who have anxiety, someone who have GERD, you know, they have having difficulties with their stomach, their digestive system. How many of them, after having the GERD and anxiety, they started to have a healthy lifestyle? How many of them start to look after what they eat? How many of them stop smoking after they have the anxiety? So it needs a lot of need a crisis to make us realize what went wrong and need to be modified. So maybe the reason why this pandemic is still continue, maybe we haven't learned, we haven't passed the test that we are supposed to. The test could be how to make us humble, how to make us the humility, how to make us be kind of grateful, how to make us realize that we are so weak, how make to realize how many cars, how big the cars you have now, you still cannot cross the country, cross the state. It doesn't mean that how much money that you have, you cannot fly to Singapore unless you orang kayangan and you can terbang to Paris. That is the idea, want to make us realize that could be the silver lining. That there are a lot of tests that we haven't passed, and these are the tests that we are taking. And some of us refuse to take this test. Some of us still fighting. But the idea now, yeah, Anita and Ustaz, why don't we take this together? Helping someone who are not so smart, and the one who's smart, helping the one who's not so smart, they will be supported. Because at the end of the day, the success is not defined by how smart you are. Otherwise, I will be so rich already, Anita. No, just kidding. No.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so that is the idea. To me, the silver lining, though that is also answer the case of suicide. It's already high even before, but now it's really like, and that means what? We need to support them. Most of the suicidal cases, yeah, Anita, they don't want to die, right? They try to look a reason for them to continue to live. And most of them have the illness, the depression, the severe mental illness, for example, and then they need to be treated. After that, they need to be supported. And some people who do not have mental illness, but they still have suicidal idea, they need to be supported as well. So what they need to find one reason so that they can continue to live. Why can't all of us be that one reason?
Thank you very much, Dr. Hazli. I think you mentioned a very good point, Doktor. Kita jaga kita. Ustaz kan, kalau kita tengok because of the whole pandemic hit ni, it has really exposed kan Ustaz how polarized our society is, the many gaps Ustaz, and how people are currently falling through the gaps ataupun the cracks of the system kan. A lot of people are, for example, ending up homeless ataupun readmissions into hospitals, for example. Kalau mungkin Ustaz boleh kupas sedikit kan Ustaz, kalau kita sendiri, we are struggling. Kita tengok social media, a lot of people are struggling. So how do we help? Because the theme today, bringing into context, is you are not alone. So macam mana kita nak membantu orang lain apabila kita sendiri pun are going through a lot of struggles right now, Ustaz? Mungkin Ustaz boleh bantu, because a lot of people that reach out to us ataupun keluarga sendiri, rakan-rakan selalu memberitahu kami, we ourselves are struggling, we see other people struggling, we feel so sad, tapi rasa pula helpless. Tapi kita jaga kita ni, kita nak buat ni Ustaz. Jadi mungkin Ustaz boleh bantu macam mana Ustaz sekarang ni.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You see, when we are facing such great trials and tribulations, there's only two things that we may achieve. Number one is, this may be one of the most sweetest success story in the history of Malaysia, or this can be the worst tragedy. And we want to make this a success story. We want to make this a success story, and I believe we are still on the way. Kita tak boleh kata kita dah gagal as a country, betul tak?
Betul.
Belum lagi. We are still in the fight. The battle is going on. Jadi kemanisan kenangan ini kita kena bina sama-sama. Biarkan 2021 ni adalah tahun kejayaan menghadapi krisis terbesar negara dalam berapa dekat ini. Tapi kita tidak akan menghadapi ataupun mengalami kemanisan tersebut if we are doing it how we are doing it currently. Okay, how we are doing it currently. So kita jaga kita. Coming back to that question, kita jaga kita. I believe that not everyone's situations are the same. Ni kita kena terima. Yeah, there are people who are not much affected actually by this pandemic. And there are people who are affected severely. We can't say that everyone is affected equally. Kita tak boleh cakap benda tu. Okay. So Islam taught us, in these times of crisis, people who have much resources. I will call straight to our wealthy Muslims, wealthy Malaysians. This is when you can be our hero. Do not miss this opportunity. The country needs you. Of course, financial constraint is also one of the main stumbling blocks sekarang ni.
Betul.
Betul tak?
Betul.
Kalau Islamically, we speak from the perspective of Islamic faith. Kalau berlaku peperangan, if there is a war, and the country is do not have much resources to go to war, then the wealthy people must contribute. It's not a question of choice anymore. So let us not go to that level. Sekarang ni you ada opportunity sebenarnya. You ada opportunity untuk datang membantu. You see, maybe just a portion of your wealth can help this significantly. Okay, can help this significantly. And I'm not only talking about wealthy people in terms of wealth. There are people who have surplus happiness. Okay, surplus happiness. There are people who have surplus well-being. Okay, ada yang ada surplus time. This is the time. Everyone can contribute something. Because when we say that, Ustaz, saya pun dalam masalah, macam mana saya nak contribute? Because mungkin kita melihat daripada satu sudut sahaja. Ustaz, saya pun tak ada duit, macam mana saya nak tolong orang yang tak ada duit? Tak semestinya. Kita mungkin tak ada duit, tapi kita mungkin ada well-being. Contoh, kan? Mungkin kita ada nasihat paling tidak.
Betul.
Nabi kata senyum pun sedekah. Tapi Ustaz, macam mana saya nak senyum-senyum kat orang sekarang ni? Janganlah faham hadis tu literal sangat. Kan? Nabi kata senyum tu sedekah, maksud dia you buat orang lain bahagia itu sedekah.
Betul.
Just by picking up a phone, calling your family, kan, asking them how are they, and joke around with them, that helps a lot actually.
Yes.
So that helps a lot. Atau setakat tanya khabar. Because many people today
Betul.
terlalu seorang diri sampai mereka menunggu orang lain untuk telefon dia.
Betul.
Inilah waktu saya test hubungan saya dengan keluarga saya. Inilah waktu saya test hubungan saya dengan kawan-kawan saya. Ada tak orang yang telefon? Ada tak orang yang bertanya khabar? Betul tak?
Betul.
So, this is the time actually. Allah kasih tribulations ni, Masya Allah, macam-macam hadiah yang akan keluar daripada tribulation ni. Tapi dengan syarat, we have to have the right lens to look at this. We have to have the right lens. Jadi, macam mana kita nak tolong orang lain? First, look at our resources. Apa resources yang kita ada? And do not confine the resources to financial or professional resources saja. Our resources ada banyak sebagai manusia. Ada banyak sangat sebagai manusia. We can share knowledge. Kan? Bagi siapa yang mungkin, Ustaz saya tak pandai counselling, saya tak pandai apa, tapi bolehlah saya kasih satu dua pandangan, strategi, macam mana mungkin nak cari duit sikit musim pandemik ni. Okay, make a video. Sekarang dah ada YouTube, dah ada Facebook. Kan, at least 1-2 minutes video you can help people yang tak ada idea macam mana nak cari nafkah, tak ada idea macam nak cari duit. Kan, apa lagi yang kita boleh buat? Kongsi, paling tidak pun kita kongsi. Siapa-siapa yang susah, kan? Share to as many people as we can. Jangan kita forward kat satu orang saja atau share dekat satu orang. Share sebanyak-banyak deh. Mungkin kita ambil 1 jam pagi kita tu adalah untuk berkongsi kepada orang lain siapa yang susah. Kan? Kalau kita sendiri tidak boleh bantu. So, it's impossible not to be able to help other people. Again,
Betul,
I repeat that statement. It's impossible not to be able to help anyone.
Betul. Thank you very much, Ustaz. I think that was
Anita,
betul.
Anita, thank you, Ustaz, for brought up very good point. And then can I add a bit one?
Go ahead,
what
Dr.
said,
Aziz. Silakan.
Okay, yang pasal konsep senyum tu, that's very good, Ustaz. It's not about kita senyum. Sometimes it's very hard when we are having difficulties for us to smile, right? But the concept that you mentioned just now is make other people also able to smile, or at least not make them crying after see us or after see us. This is so important at this moment when we use the social media as a way of communication. And some people post in their social media say that, oh, maybe they said they try to lift up their spirit, try to make them feel good by putting all the good stuff that they have. Without they realize that can offend or can make other people who see that feel or triggered or feel sad. And then when people comment, then they will say that, hey, if you don't like, just unfollow. If you don't like, you don't don't care. This is the way, and I have the right to show whatever that I want to do. Yeah, but again, the right, it comes with responsibility, right?
Yes.
Responsibility. So if you know that whatever that you put, it can hurt someone, even though not many, but a small number of people, are you still going to post it, or can you just keep to yourself first, and then when the time right is you do that? Because you're not going to put smile on other people's face, but in fact you can make some of them feel bad, and then you still think whether you still want to post that or not. Because that's the example how important for us to do that. This is the concept of empathy again. If we're able to see from other people perspective or people's shoes, we won't do that, right? That is also a kind of support. That is kind of help, by not doing that. So you can help others. The second point here, Anita and Ustaz, is about asking for help. So it's, that for someone who are used to be successful, to be in control with their life, it's very hard for them to ask for help. It's very hard for them to reach out, because they feel embarrassed, they feel ashamed, and then they don't know what to reply when their friend or their other people asking how they are, and then whether they are okay or not. But I want to remind for people who have that kind of issues, be in that place. Yeah, please remember, please remember that when you reach out to the people who can help you, you do not know how much you give the satisfaction, the pleasure for those who able to help you. These people all this while try to find an opportunity to help you, but they don't have that because you are so independent, you are so self-sustaining, you are so good. So this is the only chance for them to able to feel the satisfaction in helping you to repay what you have done. And then why can you give that chance to this person to help you? You give you bring smile to this person who able to help you. Not so much,
Yes.
not necessarily in terms of money, but in terms of the practical stuff, just to be there. So for if any one of us be in the situation that hit the rock bottom, please reach out. You do not know how many people who want to help you and going to feel so much better after they're able to help you, because they care for you so much, but they don't have the opportunity before. Just think like that, yeah. It make you don't feel so bad to reach out.
Thank you very much Dr. Hazli. Terima kasih banyak-banyak Ustaz. Sangat membantu sebenarnya apa yang Ustaz kongsikan dan juga Dr. Hazli. I think kan Ustaz betul. Bila there are so many things that are being viral kan Ustaz, dan kita bila kita nampak, kita rasa kita tak boleh nak bantu sebab kita limit tu bantuan equaling to financial help. Jadi kita dah tak nampak apa lagi cara yang kita sebenarnya boleh bantu, and you are absolutely true because we hear this a lot. Apabila kita hanya bertanyakan khabar, itu sahaja sangat membantu for a person to be able to meluahkan apa sahaja mungkin bebanan, tekanan yang mereka lalui pada waktu itu Ustaz, dan kita rasa sangat terbantu because a lot, you know, this past few weeks kan media banyak tanya kepada MIASA, adakah talian bantuan ni, you know, all these helplines, does it really help? Because sometimes orang tak realise kan sebenarnya dapat bercakap dengan seseorang individu yang tidak menghukumi kita sangat membantu sebenarnya. And also kan Dr. Hazli, a lot of people also don't realise yang bukannya semua orang yang going through mental health struggles need clinical intervention. Diorang tak, you know, people don't realise this because there's a spectrum kan. So sebab tu continuum of care ni sangat penting dalam community. The recovery is in the community. Ni konsep yang ramai orang mungkin tak perasan sebenarnya. So obviously helplines are very helpful. Empowering the community is so helpful Ustaz, macam Ustaz katakan, kerana semua individu kan Ustaz sebenarnya adalah resource untuk membantu individu yang lain. Jadi ini apa yang kita tak perasan. So can you imagine kalaulah task shifting kan Dr. Hazli betul-betul berlaku dengan memberikan sedikit je latihan sebenarnya kepada the lay person, we can all help one another. Tidak akan ada orang yang tak ada bantuan sebenarnya because we can all help. So this is so important. So the help is in the community. All of you that are listening and watching, apa yang Ustaz kongsikan tadi, I think is so helpful. Dan juga Dr. Hazli, so just reach out, you know, call, tanya khabar. Itu sahaja sebenarnya sangat membantu. And of course, when the person is reaching out, talking to us, validate. Please validate what they're going through. You know, we can all orang kata resonate kan sekarang ni because kita semua tengah struggle. Everyone is currently struggling. Mungkin macam Ustaz katakan tadi, mungkin ada orang di atas yang mungkin tak terkesan sama because we're all in different boats. Tetapi I think kan Ustaz, as a normal person before the pandemic, kita dapat at least a glimpse of mental health struggles ni sebenarnya. Jadi mungkin Dr. Hazli, I want to ask about pejuang barisan hadapan Dr. Hazli. Bagaimana kita nak membantu the frontliners at the moment? Kita sebenarnya kita tahu, tapi mungkin Dr. Hazli boleh kita tekankan sikit, kita highlight lagi peranan kita at an individual level, family level, community level untuk membantu. The health system is overburdened. The mental health system is overburdened, Dr. Hazli. Jadi sedikit mungkin saranan daripada Dr. Hazli as a mental health professional kepada mereka, sebab kita mungkin tak perasan our doctors, frontliners, healthcare workers, mereka you know, volunteers dekat PPV, semua yang sedang berjuang sekarang ni, we are all tired, kita semua kepenatan. So kalau rakyat tak membantu, mungkin kita selalu, blame game pun berlaku dan sebagainya, dissatisfaction. Mungkin we can, macam Ustaz kata, what we're doing currently is not the best. We can do more, we can do better sebenarnya. We can thrive. Tapi nasihat Dr. Hazli, sedikit nasihat untuk nak mengurangkan beban, untuk ease the burden of the health system, ease the burden of the mental health system collectively, Dr. Hazli. What are we not doing enough to empower the community to do more right now?
Okay.
Sorry, loaded question pula.
To reply to the question also make no, to reply to that question also make me feel heavy inside already, Anita.
I mean,
So,
I'm
okay,
being
at
asked
least one
every
thing that
single
we
day.
can do.
Every single day the media calls, Wanita, what can we do? How
At
do we
least the-
do? What is the solution?
Okay.
Kan? Jadi kita kena bincang,
Okay.
Dr. Hazli.
Okay. We can do many things, but one thing that we hopefully that we should not do is to blame the frontliners.
Oh yeah.
We make mistake. We may make mistake. Yeah, there are a lot of errors. As Ustaz said, kita belum tewas, kita belum gagal. And then, but if we do not do it well right now, we may. But one thing that we shouldn't do to put the blame on the frontliners. Can we imagine wearing PPE, very uncomfortable,
many layers,
to be surrounded? For us, one mask pun kita rasa restless and we don't want to use it all the time. Can we imagine for those who have to wear that during their shift, at least 8 to 10 hours, and then some of them need to do overtime when some of their colleague has been contact positive or has been positive with the COVID itself. So, but they have to do it because whether they want or they do not want, this the part of their responsibility, and then has been reminded that they need to continue that. This is the burnout plus, if we burn out working, stress out during in our workplace, we burn out. But this one is more than burnout because you have to consider the emotional burnout as well, to look after the person that you do not know whether it's going to stay when you come back the next day, whether the person is still going to be there or not. And then someone you already started to have some connection, and then the person leave us. And then especially not saying that the old one deserve to die, no, but everybody need to be safe. But someone that you think that is so healthy, the next day just deteriorated so fast, and then you don't even have a chance to say goodbye and ask for forgiveness if you did something wrong. That's what they have to go through every day. And then they have to choose which one they should have, which one they should send to ICU and give the ventilator to continue their breathing. They play God. They play God almost every day. And then you think that when they go back and at home, they're able to forget whatever they have seen in their during their working time. So can you imagine how it's going to affect their sleep? And then they don't have enough rest. And then they have to worry about their family members that may get infection. And then, that's why it's so important for us to do something with it. We have to ensure that they work with the hours that they are supposed to. And then they have a chance, a place that they can express their issues, their problem, and then be at least a place where they just can vent out and ventilate, and then someone can validate that. So this is they are the one that we should jaga, and then they are the one who should probably in the boat that almost collapsed, dah hampir nak tenggelam. So I think we need to figure out. We need to use the budget that we have, the fund for this pandemic, for the frontliner. How can we help them physically and mentally and socially, spiritually, according to their needs? Remember, according to their needs, because different frontliners require different kind of needs, and then we cannot just have one program that fit all, not one assistant that fit all. We need to provide that kind of according to their needs. But one thing that we need to do first is to ask them, to allow them to tell us what their needs. Can someone, is there anyone do that? So is there any NGO that asking what are the needs of their frontliners? They probably tell their head of the unit, their superior, their bosses, but do they have that power to fulfill all the needs of their subordinate? So they are limited also, and then some of them are already stressed out as well. So this is the time that outside, this is the concept where the external parties should be empathy enough to ask them to come and help them. Are we waiting for them to angkat bendera putih? You want us KKM to angkat bendera putih and then everyone will come? And then before, when they want to angkat bendera putih, there are so many people going to blame them and accuse them or say that they are the reason that we fail. So that's something that we really have to look into, Anita. So thank you for bringing it up, because that is what, for example, we want to give help, we want to assist. All the talian hayat, the talian hayat is headlines, Anita. It's true, talian hayat, because sometimes of the
yes, it can be true for some people.
Continue to live, and that's funny enough. People ask about whether it's useful or not. Sama lah juga orang duk tanya, jumpa psychiatry ni bayar mahal-mahal, tak mahal sangat pun. Membantu ke tidak, duk cakap je. Tapi they did not know the power of connection. Ustaz know that very well. And then, so, you know that most of the headline operate at what time? And then, and you think that the people who in crisis, they choose the time they're going to be in crisis? And then usually, where is the time that we're in crisis? That is the time that the gap need to be filled.
Yes, I agree.
Then the help, the assistance to frontliners actually is the gap that need to be filled.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hazli. Kalau kita ingat kan masa PKP pertama, ada kes-kes suicide kan Dr. Hazli, Ustaz, doctors sebenarnya yang kehidupan akibat bunuh diri. Macam Dr. Hazli katakan tadi lah, every single day looking at this, feeling helpless, walaupun they have done everything that they can in their power, tetapi we are losing lives. A lot of people have died because of COVID-19. Tambahan pula kan Dr. Hazli, orang-orang lain, individu-individu lain yang juga sakit pada waktu ni, people with NCDs, mungkin orang yang berlaku kemalangan, and of course people with mental health struggles, mental health disorders kan Dr. Hazli currently. So a lot of people feel very alone, those that are struggling with mental health disorders. Ustaz, kalau Ustaz boleh maybe berikan sedikit kata-kata lah semangat dan bantuan kepada mereka, those that are struggling alone with mental health disorders, sebab kita dapat banyak soalan sebenarnya. Puan Anita, MIASA, I'm going through a mental health condition, I'm alone right now. Maybe some of us have family members tetapi masih berasa keseorangan. Dengan berlakunya pandemik ni, rasa sangat tertekan sebenarnya Ustaz. Susah nak nampak jalan keluar, and relate. So I've been in that situation before, bukan dalam waktu pandemik, tetapi dalam keadaan, bila kita punya mental health condition acute, dalam saat pandemik lagilah rasa macam very trapped kan Ustaz. Jadi mungkin macam mana kita nak keluar daripada situasi tersebut Ustaz?
Subhanallah. Semoga Allah beri kekuatan kepada mereka-mereka yang melaluinya. This is not something easy. I can safely say that's one of the most painful and the most difficult situation a human being can be in. To struggle and to think that you are alone. First and foremost, I want to repeat what Dr. Hazli said just now. Allow people to help. Okay. Request for help. Use whatever means to request for help. If you do not have family members, if you maybe do not have close friends, at least use your social media, request for help, contact NGOs. First and foremost is we ourselves feel that we are alone. That idea, that's the first idea that we have to combat dulu. Kalau kita nak combat a negative idea in our head, the first idea that we need to combat is that we are alone and no one can help us. That mentality, that idea can help no one. And you thinking that way cannot help you and will only make you feel worse.
Yeah.
So pertama sekali, kena tanamkan kepercayaan there are people who can help me. And of course, Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala is always there. Okay? Tapi Allah minta kita untuk usaha buat sesuatu. Jangan segan minta bantuan. Tidak ada hinanya, tidak ada malunya. Tak kiralah siapa kita sebelum waktu pandemik ini. Kan? Ustaz ke, kaunselor ke, psikologis sendiri, doktor sendiri. Kan? Kadang-kadang orang yang ada position macam ni yang lebih susah nak minta bantuan. Sebab dia membantu orang.
Betul.
Sebelum ni dia membantu orang. Sekarang ni dia nak minta. It's not easy. It's not easy. Kan? Tetapi since Allah have given you opportunities to help others, now is the time for you to give the opportunity for others to help you. Macam Dr Hazli kata tadi. Dan itu pun sedekah. Kita memberi sedekah kepada orang lain untuk tolong kita. Tidak ada hinanya dalam agama, dari pandangan perspektif agama Islam, tidak ada hinanya kita meminta bantuan apabila kita benar-benar memerlukan.
Betul.
Tidak ada malunya. Tidak ada malunya. Bahkan itu dapat pahala sebenarnya. Apabila kita mencari bantuan pada waktu yang betul dan kita ketepikan nama kita ketepikan apa yang orang akan cakap untuk memperbaiki kehidupan kita, I believe there is a reward, there's a great reward there because Allah nak kita jaga diri kita. Allah nak kita perbaiki kesihatan kita. So bila kita melakukan sesuatu ke arah itu, there is a reward from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Ustaz, what if there is no one? I'm not sure in Malaysia whether that situation is possible. Is it possible for anyone to really feel that there is no help at all? Unless dia betul-betul terputus dari segi communication, media, betul tak? I believe there are orang-orang yang maybe tua, kan, yang mungkin tak ada akses kepada phone ataupun internet. This kind of people kita kena carilah. Kan? This is where orang kampung, jiran, keluarga kena ambil peranan. We can't expect everyone to be connected to the internet. We can't expect that, kan? Khususnya di kawasan pedalaman. So itu kerja orang sekeliling keluarga untuk ambil tahu. Tapi bagi yang connected, I believe there is always a way. We hear of so many cases of people yang dah angkat bendera putih melalui dia punya YouTube ke Facebook ke apa benda ke, and we see that help come promptly.
Yes.
Walaupun ada cases yang tak datang juga, lambat ataupun lambat, tetapi dia datang juga. Dia datang. And alhamdulillah kita dah ada app Kita Jaga, tak silap saya kan? Betul. Kita Jaga. May Allah bless the inventor of this app. It came the right moment, the right moment. May Allah bless Subhanahu Wa Taala, bless you and your team. And I think that all Malaysians should download this app. Semua orang.
Betul.
Dia dah jadi macam MySejahtera sebenarnya. Atau sepatutnya connect terus dengan MySejahtera. Connect terus dengan MySejahtera. So, susahlah untuk orang tu kata, I do not know where to find help. Ataupun, I tak tahu ada orang susah. Kalau ada orang hari ni yang cakap macam tu, dia ada...
Dia bukan orang lah.
Ada MPD kot, wallahualam kan. Dia ada narcissistic personality kot. Tapi siapa yang berakal, menggunakan akal fikiran dengan baik akan tahu bahawa so many people are struggling. Lagi satu perkara adalah berkenaan dengan how to be alone sometimes. There is a technique in being alone. Sebab we think that, okay, I'm alone, that's it, I'm doomed. But a human being is a miracle. You know, our internal reality ni sebenarnya, people who have mental illnesses know more than me. How many conversations are going on in one's head, in one's self? Actually, our scholars have written about this. We have our akal, we have our nafs, we have the heart that sometimes are in conversation with each other.
Yep.
So this is the time that we regulate this conversation. Semampu kita, bagi yang mampu regulate, boleh regulate lagi, kena regulate. And dengar betul-betul. Apa kata nafsu? Nafsu nak apa? Apa kata akal? Akal nak apa? Apa kata hati? Hati nak apa? And it's going to be helpful if you take a piece of paper, buat tiga line, dua line, nafsu, akal, hati. Lepas tu dengar betul-betul dalam hati ni, apa yang sebenarnya. Akal ni biasanya dia yang rational part, kita tahu. Dia yang reasonable rational part. Kan, dia akan bagi cadangan, dia akan kata ada jalan lagi, kan, jangan takut, kan, ada di sana, tulis, kita kena tulis. Sometimes we have to see our thoughts. Okay, we have to see our thoughts, tulis. Lepas tu apa hati nak? Hati mungkin akan kata, hidup ni sementara, Allah Maha Pengasih, Allah Maha Penyayang, kan, kembali kepada Allah, perbaiki hubungan, mungkin. Ada, saya yakin ada, dalam jiwa kita semua ada benda-benda. Nafsu ataupun our fear of survival. Nafsu ni, kalau saya nak summarize, it is the entity that Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala placed in us. It concerns survival sebenarnya nafsu ni. Kan, sebab tu nafsu fikir apa? Makan, kahwin, sebab tu semua survival. The survival of the human race. Anger is also for survival.
Betul.
Kan? Kadang-kadang envy pun kadang-kadang for survival. Kan? Sebab kita nak apa orang nak supaya kalau dia boleh survive, aku nak survive macam dia. Tapi kalau envy tak kontrol, dia jadi negatif.
Betul.
Envy orang berilmu, kena ada. Envy kepada orang baik, kena ada. Nabi kata boleh. Kita hasad kepada dua orang. Itu orang berilmu dan orang yang kaya dan dia beramal dengan dia banyak sedekah. Kita boleh rasa hasad dengan dia. Sebab kita nak jadi macam dia. You see? So all these things adalah nafsu. Dan nafsu ni adalah untuk survival. So kita dengar apa nafsu cakap. Macam mana ni, aku dah tak cukup duit bulan ni. Kan? Ni kalau lagi sebulan ni habis, aku lemas terus ni. Dan tulis. Oh, aku dah tak ada keluarga, kalau aku na'udzubillah meninggal seorang-seorang, siapa nak tolong aku? Tulis. Dan pastikan letak sebelah-sebelah dengan hati dan dengan akal. When you see that, you akan nampak bahawa sebenarnya jiwa manusia ni kita ada balancing role. Dia ada aspek-aspek yang boleh balance it out. Problem bila kita hanya dengar daripada mungkin kita punya survival part tu, nafsu kita. Takut, what will happen to me, fear, kan, sadness, kita kata disappointment of the past, and then unknown future. Tapi kita tak list kat sebelah tu kehendak hati kita dan kehendak akal kita. Sebab kadang-kadang otak ni berserabut. Kan?
Serabut,
Ustaz.
Ustaz.
Umar kata apa? Yang akan menangkap fikiran adalah pena. The object that can catch thoughts is the pen, dia kata. Maksudnya dalam belajar pun kadang-kadang kita kena menulis, write notes. It's very important lah. Jadi sama juga, bila kita tengah serabut macam ni, catch it. Jangan biar dia menerawang terbang ke kanan, ke kiri, ke atas, ke bawah, buat kaca bilau dalam minda kita. Tangkap dia, letak kat atas kertas. Melekatkan dia dekat atas kertas tu. So we can see very clearly. And then we realize that nanti di bawah segmen akal tu sebenarnya ada banyak cadangan. Ada banyak cadangan. Jadi ini cadangan saya untuk tidak rasa keseorangan walaupun kita keseorangan. Sebab dalam kita ni kita boleh ada internal conversation sebenarnya. Okay, kita boleh ada internal conversation. Cumanya kalau perlu ada sesi-sesi macam ni, we have to take it seriously. In what way? In what sense? Kita kalau nak jumpa kaunselor ke, nak jumpa psychiatrist ke, kita akan of course mandi, sarapan, lepas tu kita keluar, jumpa, betul tak? Kita tak terus bangun daripada tidur je, terus pergi jumpa psychiatrist. Tidak. Jadi sama juga, kalau kita nak ada sesi-sesi seperti ini dengan diri kita sendiri, give significance to it. Kasih kepentingan kepadanya dengan kita bangun, kita mandi dulu, kan? Kita sarapan dulu, dan pukul 11 nanti aku akan ada conversation ini. Aku nak clear aku punya thoughts. Dan insya-Allah, even sometimes loneliness can solve problems. And sometimes out there people who are too busy with life, they want to be lonely. Betul tak? Dia orang nak bersendirian. So sekarang ni Allah telah memberi awak waktu keseorangan ini, ambil peluang. Sebab keseorangan juga ada banyak manfaat dan banyak faedahnya. Ada banyak manfaat dan ada banyak faedahnya. Cuma itulah poin saya. Yang pertama, seek out for help. Dan saya yakin ada orang di luar sini yang bersedia. Kita tengok dekat dalam jaga app tu kan. Kita jaga. Kita jaga tu ada banyak red dots. The blue dots are also equal in number. Sometimes even more. The blue dots yang nak bantu, yang bersedia kata we can help. Kan? Sometimes it's even more than the red dots. That means it's there. Help is there. Okay, help is there. Wallahu a'lam.
Thank you very much, Ustaz. Ya, Dr. Hazli. Dr. Hazli mute.
Lepas Ustaz cakap, datang idea nak komen. Bukan nak
Boleh,
komen,
silakan.
bukan komen, nak
tambah lah.
Nak tambah sebab Ustaz cakap tu dah cantik sangat dah. Tadi Ustaz cakap tu, dia dah ada konsep CBT, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. Okay. Jadi apa dia? Bila kita banyak sangat perkara dalam fikiran, dia akan ulang benda yang sama. Kita panggil rumination. The rumination itself is a negative things to do because they are all the same thing. And then once we write it down and then list it down, it's not that many. And then once we can see with our own eyes, it's different from just inside the thoughts. And then it seems that it does not have as many as we think that when it's inside our head. And then the second concept, when Ustaz mentioned that we have to prepare ourselves when we want to have a conversation with ourselves. And then this is the behavioral component. We have to do the behavioral modification. We have to start taking shower. We have to fulfill our activity, daily living. And then we consider that as important. It's the same thing when we want to perform semayang. We have to prepare. And then it can do that couple with that, whatever that activities after kita semayang. So the concept just now when Ustaz mentions about how to be okay to be alone. Okay, that's the first step. Most of us are not comfortable when we are alone. And then the second part that we can upgrade after that, how to enjoy when you are alone. That is the second part that we can do, because there are things or activities can do that. So alone does not mean lonely.
Share sikit how to enjoy being alone.
Oh, itu tak boleh, tak boleh. Not the time sekarang ni, kita hanya untuk nak be okay je dulu. Sekejap kita show off sangat. Orang nak be okay, nak jadi.
Nak belajar.
What I'm trying to say is, but the first thing that we need to do is to accept the fact that we are not okay when we are alone. And then what could be that reason? And then we need to slowly understand how to be okay to be alone. There are reasons, many reasons what make us not comfortable to be alone to start with. So that's the reason when people feel that they're alone, they feel so lonely and they are isolated for the rest of the world. So that make them not comfortable, kan? And then we have to ask ourselves, is it true that we are alone right now and then nobody want to know about us? So that is what the thing that it can be done. So when Ustaz mentioned just now, if we think that reach out, yes, we can do that, and then many people want to do that. And then the concept is the same juga. Kita bukan only the white flag and then the blue flag. Not just about the bad memories, the good memories. It's not about the bad thoughts, the good thoughts. They come back to how to balance it. So that is what we need to do. Yeah. So that's what we can do that well when we are alone.
Betul. Mungkin kadang-kadang Dr. Hazli dengan Ustaz is because of the symptoms of the condition, mungkin juga dalam fasa mana kita berada, sistem sokongan kita, persekitaran kita akan menyebabkan kita rasa alone sebenarnya. So that is really why a person in the condition would feel alone lah, because I felt it before as well. Walaupun saya mempunyai a family that is very supportive, alhamdulillah, tapi the condition and the symptoms of the condition, Ustaz, Dr. Hazli, the stigma yang kita internalize, itu sebenarnya yang buatkan kita rasa keseorangan dalam konteks mental health disorder ni. Okay, thank you very much.
Sekejap, yang pasal kita jaga tu, app tu, I think mungkin many Malaysians confine it to financial help sahaja.
Yes, betul.
Sedangkan we can use that app not only for financial help, kan? siapa saja mungkin perlu, I need someone to talk to. Just
Yes,
voice out. I letak red flag ni because I need someone to talk to.
betul.
Kan? And I believe orang yang keluarkan blue flag tu, kalau dia ada resources, dia boleh tolong carikan.
Betul.
Kan?
Ini
Atau kalau perlu khidmat tertentu, perlu bayarkan, dan you tolong bayarkan kalau you ada
betul.
kemampuan. Kan?
Ini sebenarnya apa yang berlaku sekarang ni Ustaz, macam MIASA sendiri, bila kita reach out, kita we go and give the food and essential, lepas kita dah habis, kita balik, they will contact us via WhatsApp. Lepas tu diorang ada emotional trouble, so dia luahkan, kita cuba bantu. So sebenarnya because dia tak sustainable kan kalau kita just bagi makan, bagi ni, and then what happens next? Because dia masih dalam keadaan tertekan, dia masih tak ada kerja, dia masih perlukan bantuan untuk anak dia, and ramai daripada diorang pun keluarga-keluarga yang meminta bantuan ni, not only they have a mental health disorder, their anak-anak pun ada mental health condition juga, apa yang kita nampak. So apa yang Ustaz katakan ni sangat betul. So from the Kita Jaga app tu boleh memberi bantuan yang lain juga Ustaz. And it's so interesting Ustaz bila Ustaz cakap pasal writing tadi tu Ustaz, from to declutter your mind, to look at it after you put it in writing lebih clear, sebab this is one of the things that many people don't know about me sebenarnya Ustaz, because other than reading, I like to write. So that is one of the things that really help. Bukan write nak tulis buku, tetapi write every single thing that I do kan Ustaz. Saya ada banyak buku yang semua bertulis because I write. And I find it very, very helpful. It helps me to organize my mind, to see what I'm going through, what is my current stress level, what are the emotional struggles that I'm going through right now, and I find it very, very helpful. And dia macam liberating as well when I do that. So Alhamdulillah, thank you very much Ustaz for sharing that. So kepada anda yang menonton, boleh cuba konsep ni. Mungkin kita rasa kita dengar YouTube, kita dengar sesi-sesi majlis ilmu dan sebagainya membantu, tetapi sebenarnya menulis apa yang kita dengari lebih membantu bagi saya sebenarnya. So that can be very, very helpful as well. Thank you very much Ustaz. Dr. Hazli, ada soalan-soalan dekat sini. Saya nak ambil soalan yang pertama ni Dr. Hazli. Ada follower ni bertanya, saya setuju kita tak sama dalam setiap situasi. Tambahan pula seperti saya yang menghadapi bipolar, anxiety, psikosis dan juga schizoaffective disorder. Bagaimana saya hendak mengawal penyakit yang saya hadapi dalam situasi PKPD yang amat menekan? Boleh tak doktor memberi cadangan sebab nak keluar rumah untuk terapi pun tak boleh buat? Silakan Dr. Hazli.
Terima kasih pada yang bertanya soalan yang amat baik, kerana kita memberi kita peluang untuk kita kata mereka yang ada penyakit psikiatri, macam dalam kes ni ada banyak beberapa tu, tapi saya rasa daripada situ tu kemungkinan yang the most likely schizoaffective lah, dia boleh cover semua. So schizoaffective, katalah dia ada penyakit schizoaffective, whatever penyakit lah. Jadi menyebabkan mereka ini tidak boleh kita samakan dengan mereka yang tidak ada penyakit. Tambah pula, bayangkanlah kalau mereka ada penyakit schizoaffective, kemudian tu dia ada diabetes pula, kencing manis pula. Jadi dah dapat lagi bertambah penyakit. Jadi tambah pula itu kalau dia sekarang ni kerja dia ikut shift dan dia dah kurang lagi pendapatan, bertambah lagi pula. Jadi kita hanya melihat dia ini sebagai seorang yang baru kekurangan pendapatan. Salah kan? Sebabnya bawah tu kita tak nampak lagi apa lagi cabaran-cabaran yang mereka lalui. Dan mereka ini takkan mereka nak beritahu kot kepada semua yang mereka ada ini, ada ini, ada ini. Okey, jadi sebab itulah pentingnya kita semua jangan cepat menghakimi, jangan cepat kita judge. We shouldn't do that, right? So in this case, it's nice if we know about this person a little bit more, if they are willing to share. But for the person who have all of this, sometimes kita lupa nak remindkan diri kita yang kita ni tak sama dengan orang-orang lain yang tak ada cabaran-cabaran itu. Kita sekarang ni lupa sebab apa? Because we are being compared to the so-called normal individual. We ourselves tend to do that. Why? Because we are being frequently reminded by other people to be like other people who do not have that condition.
Yep.
So it kind of like a constant reminder. It's a very difficult for this person to able to accept that I'm different. I should give a bit of discount to myself for not be able to fulfill the KPI, the expectation that other people who do not have schizoaffective, who do not have hypertension. So we sometimes put ourselves not at the same level as others, and then we judge by through that. But we need to, again, we're not going to just accept that and don't do nothing. That's wrong. We have to do something how to make us at the same bar or the same par from others with support. We cannot just say, oh, I have this, I have it, but we do not follow the expectation for someone who have the condition. Yeah. For someone who have diabetes, they have to look after their diet, and then they have to have a physical activities. If they do not do that, and then they expect their sugar level is within nice control without taking the medication, if they are expected to, that is not right. Yeah, sometimes we have to ask ourselves, since that we need to be assisted, but why can't we follow the recommendation by someone who want to help us, right? I know that sometimes there are kind of like a reason we don't want to accept that is as premature as we could. Yes, we entitled for second opinion, third opinion, whatever opinion, but there is a limit also, right? So the idea is sometimes it come to back. We have to reflect again about ourselves. Am I actually really rebel with whatever that we have done now? And am I actually willing or able to reach out and then get help, or but still kind of like embarrassed about what I have, which I was supposed not to feel that way. But again, if we are still that phase, no need to criticize ourselves also. We have to accept, yes, I'm still having difficulties to accept that I have this or I have that. I know that I'm still feel sensitive when someone said this, said that. So I need to understand what made me still having this kind of experience. Is there anything that I can do? Can I ask someone who can help me accepting my condition and then make me able to feel a little bit more comfortable with what I have? Again, that is not trying to be overly sweet and positive about something. No, we accept, yeah, we are having these challenges. Now, even I want to go out also, I feel so afraid that I may have this infected with COVID-19. And then I have to check whether my fear, is it reasonable or my fear is attributed to my illness? And then is there any way that I can get help? Can I get online consultation? Can I get the medication sent to me? Is there anyone that I can reach out so that I can feel supported, so that I can go to my follow-up? So I know that the hospital right now, because the focus is COVID, because they have to reduce the number of patients that they can cater for follow-up, right? So that is what really happened. We can't expect that. So, but there are any other ways. So that is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes we have to look back inside ourselves and try to find a leftover of strength to reach out, to find someone who can support us, and to admit, yes, I need this kind of help, and continue make the effort, which is part of the usaha, and then pray, and then after we know that we have done the best we can do, and then tawakal for Allah.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Hazi. I think just to add on to the person that asked the question, memang sekarang ni kalau kita nak pergi ke government hospitals kan, Dr. Hazi klinik dan sebagainya, mungkin kekangan daripada segi appointments lambat dan sebagainya. I think for now, NGOs on the ground are here. Ini juga adalah salah satu cara talian-talian bantuan juga boleh membantu. So if you need to talk to someone, please reach out. Dan talian-talian ataupun helplines ni ada juga melalui WhatsApp. So even if you don't want to speak to someone, you can also WhatsApp to the numbers that are available. Okay, so NGOs dan juga talian-talian bantuan are available at the current moment. Okay,
Anita, can I say something? Yeah, for I need to highlight also. We have to be mindful also to people who help us doing this talian helpline, right? For example, the counselors, who help them. We have to be mindful that most of them doing volunteers, right?
Yep,
so I think there is a way that we need to figure out to find out fund for whichever that we need to help them, to give them some kind of financial reward as well for the hours that they have spent. But maybe can reduce the fees that they usually receive. For example, if they are in the private setting, right? Because you cannot expect them to do as a CSR all the time, because they also need to eat, they need to do something. So if there is a way that where can help this, in fact, the counselor from the public sector who can do the job, they need to be financially supported when they do that kind of help. Otherwise, it's unfair to them.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Hazli. I think this is the part where private sectors can come in and help lah. Sebenarnya, even for our volunteers, I think one of the concept that MIASA is trying to bring forth is supported volunteering, so that we can also orang kata get more commitment is one, but also give a little bit of allowances kan to the volunteers are betul, duit makan, money for gas, toll dan sebagainya. At least that part of it is covered lah, insyaAllah. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Hazli. I think one of the things also that we see a lot is apabila kita ada mental health condition and we talk to a person kan, kita banyak downplay apa yang kita lalui dan rasakan to a level that we want people to really understand, tapi really that is not the way. Sebab kalau kita downplay sampai bila-bila pun orang lain tak akan memahami sebenarnya, Ustaz. People are not going to get the true insights of the struggle. So to me, the struggle is real, the pain is very real. I think that now with platforms such as MIASA, banyak mental health advocates coming out right now, people are braver today to talk about it, and especially because of the pandemic hit ni, we are able to normalize this discussion so much. So kita dah nampak help seeking behavior dah increase, people reaching out for the help pun dah increase. Maybe sebelum ni orang tak tahu pun that they are going through mental health struggles. So sekarang ni bila dah ada banyak information, access to information, and also what I've seen that we're really happy is netizens kat luar sana banyak berkongsi sebenarnya resources for mental health help. And kita nampak talian-talian bantuan pun because of the increased numbers of suicide, banyak orang berkongsi. So the help is already within the reach, within grasp. Jadi Alhamdulillah ini yang berlaku. Tapi I would like to share, Ustaz dan Dr. Hazli, the numbers. Walaupun the data yang kita ada adalah daripada PDRM, so kita tahu this is not hard data. Mungkin banyak daripada data ni is actually underreported. Tapi kalau saya boleh kongsikan, from 2019 sehingga Mei 2021, we're looking at 1,708 suicide cases in Malaysia, and half of the total death that is recorded via PDRM ni adalah between the ages of 15 to 18 years old. So kita nampak ini sebenarnya inline sebab prevalency, kalau kita tengok mental health issue struggle semua memang di kalangan umur ni, dan kemudian diikuti pula dengan death via suicide. Kalau kita tengok this year alone, 468 suicide cases in Malaysia in the past 5 months. Jadi kalau kita compare 2019 609, Dr. Hazli, 2020 631, and although we are fully aware kita tak ada national registry of suicide di Malaysia, ceased reporting since 2009, tapi kalau kita tengok daripada data-data sebelum ni, we're looking at about 1 to 2. Jadi sekarang 3 deaths every single day. Jadi mungkin Ustaz kita tahu suicide is still very much a taboo dalam society kita, tidak kira masyarakat Melayu, Cina, India dan sebagainya. Tetapi kalau kita bawa konteks ni kepada the Muslim community kan Ustaz, Tambah-tambahan lagi Muslims, very difficult to talk about it. A lot of Muslims that go through suicidal thoughts, intense suicidal ideation, susah nak meluahkan because they're going to be judged, dihukumi, segala macam hukum lah Ustaz, kita semua tahu. So people will pull themselves, kita akan isolate diri, we are going to struggle alone, struggle in silence, which is so dangerous Ustaz. Jadi mungkin Ustaz boleh kongsikan mereka yang tengah berjuang bersendirian kerana takut, kerana malu, what can they do alone in this situation?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Pertama sekali kita nak kena ada kefahaman yang betul dulu tentang suicide dalam agama. Ya, of course we have the element or the aspect of hukum dalam Islam, but we cannot forget there is also the element of method and therapy in this religion. Sometimes people confuse between these two. They think that it is enough just to throw around the hukum of haram, you know, thinking that by saying it's haram, that will be the only solution to the problem, right? Having said that, I do not mean that hukum has no therapeutic effect. Okay, hukum itu sendiri dia ada unsur ataupun ciri terapi, boleh membantu sebahagian orang untuk tidak jadi melakukan suicide.
Deterrent.
So we have to look, deterrent, as a deterrent. So we have to look at it in a case-to-case basis. I nak bercakap dulu dengan mereka-mereka yang sekeliling ataupun hidup bersama orang-orang yang mungkin ada suicidal thoughts. You have to diversify your approach. Perbagaikan, ragamkan awak punya pendekatan untuk membantu keluarga ataupun kawan-kawan ataupun sesiapa sahaja yang awak tahu ada suicidal ideation, ada suicidal thoughts ataupun na'udzubillah min zalik mungkin pernah attempt. Untuk menggunakan hujahan agama contoh, hukum haram halal, ataupun awak kena tambah solat, awak kena tambah baca Al-Quran, dia ada syarat dia. Bukan semua orang boleh tiba-tiba memberikan nasihat seperti itu. Pertama sekali, hubungan awak dengan dia ni mestilah hubungan yang ada hormat menghormati. That means he respect your religiosity. Itu penting. Orang tersebut menghormati awak punya keagamaan. Jangan awak pun tak jaga agama, dia pun na'udzubillah tak jaga agama, tiba-tiba awak nak bercakap hukum haram. Kau kena tambah solat, kau kena puasa, kau kena zakat, kau kena baca Quran. Itu dia tak ada credibility. Bahkan it makes religion sounds bad. Dia akan membuat agama ni satu perkara yang hanya menghukum dan tidak menyelesaikan masalah. Dan Islam bukan itu. Kita tahu Islam bukan itu. Bagi orang yang akidahnya kepada Allah kita tahu kuat, kukuh, mungkin kita boleh ingatkan dia bahawa hidup ini bukan milik kita dan kita tidak ada hak untuk ambil. Dan Allah marah kalau kita dalam keadaan waras, kita mengambil nyawa kita. Haram hukumnya. Itu bagi orang yang kita yakin dia ada kepercayaan kuat pada Allah. Jangan kita terus campak hukum contoh kepada anak-anak muda yang kita tahu kita tak ajar mereka agama betul-betul. Akidah mereka dengan Allah pun tak kuat. Lepas tu kita kata kamu depressed, kalau kamu nak bunuh diri atau bunuh diri kamu akan kekal dalam api neraka. Itu kemungkinan akan push them to do it. Sebab apa? Manusia ni kadang-kadang bila dia tak nampak jalan keluar, okay, if that's the case, maybe rebellion will be the only satisfaction that I will get. Kan, manusia ni pelik kadang-kadang. Kan? Dan dia tahu bahawa rebellion itu kadang dia tujukan kepada Tuhan. Tapi ada manusia lain yang push them to do that. You know, push it. So we cannot push. Jangan push their buttons with religion. So saya cadang ambil method terapi. Ambil method agama sebagai pemujuk. Okay, as a comforter. Okay, as a counselor. As a listener. Itu sebenarnya kalau tanya saya tentang suicide dalam Islam ni, actually 90% is to help people.
Yes.
And 10% is hukum. Hukum tu pun untuk membantu, tapi dia pensepadanan. That is the border. It tells you the border. Do not cross the border. But as long as you are inside the border, what do you do?
Yep.
That is where comforting comes in. We need to know how to comfort people with religion, dengan agama. Dan mereka-mereka yang mungkin struggling ya, seorang diri yang ada suicidal ideation dan sebagainya, of course saya akan cadang antaranya membaca Al-Quran. Tetapi ada cara dia untuk membaca Al-Quran. In this kinds of time, saya mencadangkan untuk dielakkan membaca kita kata ayat-ayat yang bercerita berkenaan dengan azab Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, dengan perkara-perkara yang ialah majestic stories in the Quran. Quran ni ada dua aspek. Dia ada jamali, dia ada beautiful aspect, dan dia ada majestic aspect. Dan majestic aspects ni dia strong. Dia kita kata kadang-kadang it can be scary. Okay? It is about hujjah, it is about mematahkan serangan musuh. Kan? I don't think you need that for now. Go to the verses where Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala speaks about His love, His mercy. It's there in the Quran. Cerita di mana Allah cerita tentang nikmat-nikmat yang Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala berikan. Bukan saya kata ayat-ayat lain tak penting, tidak, buat masa ini. Buat masa ini. Dan kita pun tidak diperintahkan wajib baca Quran daripada kulit ke kulit setiap masa, tidak. We can choose the verses that kita rasa I feel comfortable with verse now. It doesn't mean I reject other verses. Bukan makna saya tolak ayat-ayat lain. Tidak. Tapi ayat ni saya perlukan sekarang. Dia macam obat lah. Kan? Kita pergi farmasi, jangan kita pergi telan semua obat tu. Kan? Matilah kita. Kan? Kita kena pilih mana yang sesuai untuk keadaan kita hari ini. Buka kisah Nabi Ayub contoh. Kan? Dalam keadaan yang begitu tertekan pada waktu itu. Dan kita belajar daripada sikap positif dia dan sebagainya. Kalau kita tak dapat ikut, paling tidak pun kita tahu bahawa manusia ada kemampuan. That human beings have the capability to, kita kata, melawan apa ujian yang besar-besar yang Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala berikan. Kalau para nabi boleh buat, kita boleh buat. Ustaz, macam pelik bunyi je tu. Dia orang nabi, kita bukan nabi, Ustaz. Di sini salah faham kita sebagai masyarakat. We think that the prophets were sent by Allah as a special class. That they are unreachable. We cannot emulate them. It's not true. What's the purpose of Allah sending Rasulullah? For us to say, oh, he's a prophet. Who are we? No. Whatever Rasulullah SAW do, we can do. Of course, with a different degree. With a different degree and intensity. Tapi apa yang Nabi boleh buat, kita boleh buat, insya-Allah. Kita boleh buat, tapi dengan kadar yang mungkin berbeza. Dengan kadar yang mungkin berbeza. Jadi the hope bila kita sendirian ni nak datang daripada mana kalau nak datang daripada Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Kalau tidak datang daripada para nabi-nabi Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Ya, jadi ambil inspirasi daripada kisah-kisah mereka. Dan kalau tak boleh nak membaca, mendengarlah. Dan kalau tidak boleh mendengar, membacalah. Dan bila dengar Quran tu dekat YouTube tu, cari yang ada terjemahan sekali. Okay, jangan hanya dengar yang tidak ada terjemahan dan kita tak faham. Kan? Kita dengar Al-Quran, lepas ayat Quran tersebut ada terjemahan. Dan cari pembaca-pembaca yang menenangkan. Kan? Ada pembaca ni dia baca keras. Ada pembaca dia membaca lembut, dia memang melayan perasaan kita. Dan ada terjemahan dia yang diterjemahkan dengan cara yang baik. Kan? Jadi ini antara beberapa perkara yang kita boleh buat apabila kita bersendirian. Dan learn how to speak with Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Okay, kita kena belajar macam mana ada conversation dengan Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Okay, bercakap dengan Allah ni bukan bercakap dengan manusia. Kan? Kita bercakap dengan dia yang tahu semua benda yang kita lalui. Bercakap dengan Allah ni macam kita bercakap dengan kekasih kita yang dia tahu kita luar dan dalam kita. Dia tahu, dia uji kita. Kan? Dia tahu kenapa dia buat. Dia tahu semua benda apa yang dia buat. Dia berhikmah. Dalam masa yang sama, dia maha pengasih. So, once you have that idea in your mind, the conversation will flow. Kalau nak marah, Ustaz, boleh tak Ustaz saya macam marah-marah dengan Tuhan? Ustaz, ada orang tanya macam tu. Kan? Awak nak luah perasaan, okay, but don't mean it. Don't mean it. Kalau dah terlepas tu, ya Allah, kenapa kau buat hidup aku macam ni? Contoh. Kan? Lepas tu, bila sedar, istighfar, nangis, ya Allah, aku bercakap begitu sebab aku tak dapat nak kau perasaan. Aku tahu kau buat begini bukan kau suka-suka nak mensia-siakan hidup aku. Aku tahu ada tujuan yang lebih besar. Terlepas sikit itu biasa. Kan? We sometimes have to have a close connection and conversation with God. Kan? Kadang-kadang bila terlepas tu dia lebih merapatkan kita lagi. So tidak ada terlalu jauh distance kita dengan Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Allah kata aku lebih dekat daripada dengan kamu daripada kamu punya jugular vein kamu, urat leher kamu. So he's close, he's very close. He knows what we speak in our heart. Tapi kesan bila kita cakap dengan mulut kita tu lain. So jangan doa dalam hati, cakap, ya Allah, aku nak faham, kau bantu aku. Teach me how to go through this. Jangan hanya kata, ya Allah, aku tak mampu. Ya Allah, aku tak boleh buat benda ni. Ya Allah, aku dah putus asa. Kalau boleh kita tahan daripada cakap begitu. Kita kata, ya Allah, tolong aku, tunjuk aku jalan. Aku tahu aku boleh berjaya dengan bantuan Engkau. Say all that positive statements dan serahkan kepada Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. InsyaAllah paling tidak dia boleh uplift kita punya spirit, insyaAllah.
InsyaAllah, Amin. Thank you very much, Ustaz. So kita tahu obviously Dr. Hazli, there is a spiritual component to it, and kita selalu bercakap tentang pendekatan yang menyeluruh, biopsychosocial and spiritual. Jadi soalan yang sama kepada Dr. Hazli, kepada mereka yang struggling now, depression, severe depression, going through suicidal thoughts and ideation pada waktu ni, mungkin apa yang Dr. Hazli boleh sarankan kepada mereka untuk lakukan, because people with depression, kan Dr. Hazli, kita tahu right now being in the lockdown, being cut off from that support system, diorang nak, kalau bila kita ada depression, kita isolate diri, dia akan bertambah teruk. The intensity of what we're going through, it becomes huge. Dia macam terlalu besar pada waktu itu. Jadi Dr. Hazli mungkin daripada perspektif klinikal ataupun the other biopsychosocial support ni, apa yang mereka boleh lakukan, Dr. Hazli?
Okay. Terima kasih Anita. Ini saya sering soalan terakhir untuk saya ni. Tapi sebelum tu saya nak komen Ustaz tu. Ustaz, terima kasih cakap pasal tadi tu, clear untuk saya. Sebabnya kadang-kadang kan ada orang dia kata, oh bila kita cakap pasal ni kita cuba nak menghalalkan suicide. No, suicide itu hukumnya itu betul. Sebab memang betul ada value-nya for the suicide is a sinful apa semua ada, sebab ramai yang pesakit yang ada depression, the only reason that they do not commit suicide is because it's haram. So that is the value. But we have to look from that perspective. So do not say that when we talk about that suicide is a part of the depression, this like kind of it's okay to commit that. No. So we mean that it's responsible for us to find support for us not to do that. So that is something that we have to be clear about it. So we are not saying that it's okay. No, it's not okay. But it's a kind of indicator. It's a time for us to reach out. And then macam yang Anita cakap soalan tadi. So when we hit the rock bottom, we feel so alone. So I think the idea why we need to seek professional help, Anita, is not just about the diagnosis. Takkanlah orang tu tak tahu dia dah depressed, dia boleh baca kot dekat online, dah banyak dah kot. And then sometimes the patient who come to see me, they already diagnosed themselves, they have a list of diagnosis, even better, they have a few friends who give them the diagnosis already. In fact, after they came back, the friend said the diagnosis of the doctors tak betul. Meaning, it's not about just the diagnosis, it's about let the therapists, let the doctors, let the whoever that going to help the person share their expert opinion about the person, at what stage or what phase they are right now in terms of their illness, in terms of their social life, in terms of their personal life. It's like, a kind of having a different perspective about who you are. Means that before you go, you need to know a little bit about who you are, about yourself. But the reason they go and to seek help is because they start to have a confusion who they are, their identity, who their purpose, their value. So they go to kind of have a second opinion about who they are, and then can share and can have a discussion. What is the best for this person at this moment of time, and have a plan according what the needs at their different time frame. So the idea is to have someone who can come up with it's either we consider like a problem list or the challenges list that we can do, and then kind of coordinate what can we do now and then what we can do later. So sometimes that we are still not comfortable with the therapists that we see. After we give a different kind of different times to see them, we may not have the compatibility. Get a second opinion. Go to another therapist. Macam Ustaz cakap tadi, we don't have to recite all the semua dekat Quran. We can choose which one. At the same time, right now, we don't have to meet up all the people. We choose the one that we are comfortable with first, right? So the whole idea is we have to know what we need right now. If we do not know, we seek help and asking someone who can help us to find out what is our needs and try to fulfill. But we should not demand it. I deserve to, I want it now. Amboi. You datang nak minta tolong, boleh demand pula ya. That's the important concept of recovery. So we have to be mindful that sometimes we demand with God also. Wah, tak tahulah doktor, dah buat macam-macam, dah apa lagi yang tak buat, apa lagi. Tapi kenapa tak boleh baik-baik lagi? Amboi. Yang nak bagi baik tu, Allah kita boleh minta paksa dia bagi baik sekarang ke? And then maybe we did not pass the test yet. To be humble again. The humility is not that. Maybe after you pass the test, you will no longer be tested. So the idea again, look back to ourselves. Are we able to accept this? And then that try to find the silver lining maybe later. Yeah, but the idea is so we have to be able to accept ourselves unconditionally. Before we expect other people to love us unconditionally, we ask ourselves first, do we accept ourselves without any condition? Or do I have to achieve this? Do I have to look like this in order for me to care and to love ourselves? So it's important for us to do that. That's the reason they go to seek professional help and talk. Sometimes, Anita, dia dah jumpa orang patient nak jumpa psychiatrist ni, dia dah lama-lama lepas dia dah follow up lah, okay kan, bila dia relapse tu, dia takut nak jumpa psychiatrist, dia takut nak jumpa saya, dia malu, dia kata nanti doktor kata, ada setengah tu dia malu, ada setengah tu dia takut doktor marah, ada setengah tu dia takut dia kesian kat doktor, nanti doktor kata. Jadi if you do not have this kind of trust, okay, that is something that we need to restart all over again. How to have this trust and kind of a relationship. So that is important.
Thank you Dr. Hazli. Banyak daripada mereka yang pernah attempt suicide Dr. Hazli ataupun contemplate suicide biasanya akan mengatakan bahawa they wish someone were to ask them how they were doing pada saat itu. Sebenarnya they're still contemplating. Dia bukannya macam definite ni Ustaz, bila benda tu dah finally dia tak nampak jalan keluar, thought process very close at the moment. Tapi sebenarnya kalaulah seseorang individu datang bertanya khabar, dia dapat buahkan, itu saja boleh menjadi deterrent kepada seseorang individu untuk melaksanakan that unimaginable act of suicide. Jadi I really hope those of you that are watching, please talk to someone. Macam Dr. Hazli katakan tadi. And another thing that I find from a lot of peers that have shared with us also is to make ourselves useful. Make ourselves useful for others kan. Jadi kan Ustaz kita selalu doa kepada Allah supaya make us amongst those that can benefit our ummah. Jadi mungkin kalau kita make ourselves useful, macam Dr. Hazli katakan tadi, do volunteer work at the moment. Banyak sangat tempat memerlukan sukarelawan. Kami di MIASA pun, Alhamdulillah, we are trying to, because of the influx of calls kan, Dr. Hazli dan Ustaz dan sebagainya, walaupun kita punya volunteers ramai 900 lebih, tapi crisis team kita sikit, kita 50 saja. So we are beating it up to 150. So kita dah dapat dah sekarang ni. So we're going through that process. So those of you that want help, there's so many NGOs on the ground, the health systems, PPB dan sebagainya memerlukan sukarelawan. So making ourselves useful, that could be a way out juga, you know, because when we help others, you know, Allah will help us. Kita juga rasa terbantu sebenarnya sebab kita dapat distract daripada the thoughts that, you know, yang mengganggu kita pada waktu tu. And of course social connectedness lah, ini sangat membantu sebenarnya. So continuing that social connectedness via alam maya lah sekarang ni secara virtual insyaAllah. Dr. Hazli, okay, just untuk nak close Dr. Hazli, ramai orang selalu tanya, especially the bereaved kan, biasanya melalui satu pengalaman di mana they didn't see the signs, dia tak nampak the warning signs ataupun dia tak tahu yang itu sebenarnya dah pengakhiran. Mungkin Dr. Hazli boleh berkongsi what are the warning signs yang orang tu dah berfikir this is it, they want to end it, supaya kita dapat sama-sama lebih observant ya Dr. Hazli, insyaAllah.
Okay, when someone that start to show a very abrupt change in their life, and someone who are depressed suddenly feels so calm. And then people say, oh my God, ubat dah jalan ke? Someone who had just like suddenly become overly positive.
Yep.
Started to give away some of their personal stuff. And then start to make people around them, the close one, them feel like they can lose a little bit in terms of monitoring. And then they some kind of like prepare what they want to leave us with. So this is a kind of way for them to say goodbye. So if there are obvious change, I mean not so obvious but subtle but significant changes, most of the time we do this retrospectively. And if that's important actually, if we have this kind of collection of retrospective things, that probably we can have a kind of like a list of indicators that people try to give. But the problem is because it's a taboo to talk about it. So by right, it's some kind of a good information for us to use as to prevent for future. That's the important for us to have a conversation. It's kind of like is not to find someone to be blamed, not to find a mistake, not to make us feel bad about not able to prevent that from happening. Why don't we remove that, detach ourselves from that, rather than what can we learn? What is the silver lining that we can get from what happened? So maybe when we look at the silver lining, we probably can get gold.
Thank you very much Dr. Hazli. Okay, kita pun dah tak banyak masa ni Ustaz. So mungkin sebagai rumusan kita punya forum hari ni Ustaz on You Are Not Alone. Kita dah banyak bincangkan on how to be alone, how to help those surrounding you that are struggling. Apa yang society boleh lakukan untuk membantu rakyat-rakyat kita, diri kita sendiri juga. Jadi mungkin Ustaz boleh rumuskan mungkin dalam 1-2 minit ni Ustaz, kata-kata harapan kepada rakyat Malaysia secara keseluruhan insyaAllah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ini adalah peluang untuk kita membuktikan sesuatu. Sama sekali kepada Allah, kepada diri kita dan kepada negara ini dan kepada dunia. Bahawa kita sebagai rakyat Malaysia, sebagai umat Islam dan berbilang bangsa, berbilang agama, sebagai orang Asia, kita ada cara kita sendiri dalam menangani cabaran hidup dan kita boleh berkongsi teknik-teknik ini kepada dunia. Kita tidak hanya mahu belajar daripada orang lain, tapi kita juga nak kongsi. Dan di waktu-waktu seperti inilah di mana potensi sebenar kita akan terkeluar. Dan saya yakin mereka yang hebat akan keluar kehebatannya. Dan kita semua ada kehebatan kita. This is the right moment. Allah is squeezing us. Okay? Kadang-kadang nak kena squeeze boleh keluar. Dan so ini period squeezing tu. Bila squeeze tu, yakinlah insyaAllah akan keluar. Dan itu sendiri bagi saya adalah satu outlook yang positif, satu outlook yang positif. Dan bagi mereka-mereka yang mungkin telah meninggalkan kita tak tahu siapa yang berjaya, siapa yang gagal. Kita jangan, itu bukan hak kita untuk menghakimi ini ke mana, orang ini ke mana, siapa yang gagal, siapa yang berjaya. Itu bukan hak kita. Kita doakan semua. Selagi kita tak tahu hujung nyawa seseorang tu bagaimana keadaan dia dengan Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, kita doakan yang terbaik dan kita doakan supaya kita semua Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala dan Tuhan golongkan di kalangan golongan mereka-mereka yang berjaya mengatasi ujian ini dengan cara yang terbaik, insya-Allah. Amin ya rabbal alamin.
Terima kasih Ustaz. Dr. Hazli, silakan.
Sekali lagi terima kasih pada Anita, pada Ustaz. Betul lah, macam itulah setiap kali Anita dengan Ustaz ajak datang, saya tak pernah kata no kan Anita, kalau tidak ada sebab bagi saya ini peluang untuk saya belajar dan peluang untuk saya berkongsi dan peluang untuk orang di sana dapat sedikit information daripada apa yang kita bincangkan lah. Kalau orang nak kata kita shock sendiri, lantaklah memang, tapi memang saya shock pun kalau berada di tempat macam ni. So the idea itu itulah macam kita percaya yang macam Ustaz kata, saya want to echo what Ustaz said. Everyone else can be a superhero when the time is right. And for those who are not a superhero, that's the time, and then it's time for us. We just being a normal human being, we need to be assisted, and then please reach out. And then just now the last question yang Anita tanya tadi tu, selalunya apabila someone want to say goodbye to us, when they start to apologizing about what they have done, even though they haven't done anything, why not we just explore the reason for them asking, ask for the apology? Maybe it's the last sign that they tell us that they're going to leave us. So look for all the goodbye sign that they were going to tell us, because at the end of the day, until at the end, they're still ambivalent. They're still unsure whether they want to do that or not. So that's my last word.
Thank you very much Dr. Hazli Zakaria. Terima kasih banyak-banyak Ustaz Muhammad Noor Deros. Jadi kita dah sampai kepada penghujung sesi live kita untuk tajuk You Are Not Alone. Saya pun sebenarnya sangat nak kata yang Ustaz dengan Dr. Hazli in a very challenging situation sebenarnya right now, sebab we see so many people struggling, and really saya betul-betul terkesan sebenarnya Ustaz. Maksudnya macam sedih sebenarnya. Itu yang saya nak katakan. Perkataannya adalah saya sebenarnya rasa sangat sedih. Saya sebenarnya rasa sangat, sebab sebenarnya saya Ustaz dengan Dr. Aziz, sebelum saya nak masuk dalam sesi ni pun saya memang I'm really struggling right now, because itulah saya tengah cuba untuk just tahan sebenarnya. Sebabnya banyak perkara yang sedang berlaku sekarang ni, ujian yang Allah Tuhan timpakan kepada kita semua. Sebenarnya ujian ni sangat besar Ustaz. Saya tahu Ustaz sepanjang discussion ni Ustaz memberikan banyak kata-kata harapan, jalan keluar dan sebagainya, tetapi saya boleh katakan secara realitinya Ustaz tidak mudah. Itu yang saya cuba nak katakan. Jadi saya nak reflect, nak bagi a balanced view juga, bahawa me myself I'm struggling Ustaz sebenarnya. Jadi it's not so easy, walaupun orang kata we are trying to help people, tapi kita sendiri pun merasakan kesukaran dan kesusahan dan kepayahan tu sebenarnya Ustaz. That is the truth. Jadi walaupun begitu, saya sebagai Presiden MIASA dan kami in the community bersama dengan rakan-rakan yang lain semua, we probably don't know, we cannot relate, mungkin kita tak faham sepenuhnya the depth of your pain, your struggles, everyone that is watching. Macam Ustaz katakan tadi, yes, we are facing the same storm, the storm of pandemic COVID-19 dan segala-galanya, but we are all in different boats. Jadi kita punya challenges semua berbeza-beza, tetapi apa yang jelas di sini adalah a mental health disorder is real. Jadi ini yang saya harap kita semua faham, and I think all of us right now we are getting that glimpse of it. A mental health condition is real, the struggle is real, the pain is real, tetapi the message of hope here is you can recover, tetapi you need to reach out. Macam Dr. Aziz katakan, Ustaz katakan tadi, and I echo this very very much. Jangan malu dan jangan takut. I've been in that situation for many of us. Kita memang takut, kita memang malu, sebab stigma tentang kesihatan mental, penyakit mental ni, stigma dia terlalu tebal. Everything that you can think of, a mental health peer akan rasakan. Kita ni tak boleh bekerja ke, kurang iman ke, tak solat ke, gila ke, people, the moment we reveal our condition, a lot of discrimination will happen. Ini adalah reality dia sebenarnya. Tapi what I'm really hoping, through all these discussions that we've had, MIASA setakat ni 165 program dah kita buat tahun ini. Sepanjang pandemic of COVID-19, continuing this discussion, very, very thankful with all the mental health advocates. Panjang penutup saya, tapi I have to say this, Ustaz, Dr Hazli sentiasa bersama-sama dengan MIASA untuk teruskan perjuangan ni. We have to keep on repeating this message, because to me, till today, I still feel that stigma continues to be the biggest barrier to mental health. That's why I always say stigma ni dia memang racun, Ustaz. It's the true poison of it all. Sebab kalau kita internalize stigma ni, untuk kita nak reach out for the help is going to be very difficult. Apabila stigma exists di keliling kita, orang tidak akan anggap our condition is real. Jadi kita nak reach out for bantuan pun orang tak boleh nak membantu. Jadi this is the reality of it. So I really hope, Alhamdulillah, because of the pandemic of COVID-19, kita dapat normalize this discussion, that we all seek knowledge, we all seek understanding. Kita faham bahawa sebenarnya we can help the person, and kita sebagai orang yang ada mental health condition, kita reach out for the help. So this is so important, because we can actually recover from this condition and come back to normal functioning sebenarnya. So this is what we want, and we can become, even macam Dr. Aziz selalu katakan, a better person than we were before. Jadi this is the message of hope. We can thrive in this journey even with a mental health condition. Jadi saya harap apa yang kita kongsikan hari ini, Ustaz Dr. Hazli, bermanfaat buat semua. Tolong kongsikan seluas-luas yang mungkin, dan akhir kata saya merayu sekali lagi kepada seluruh rakyat Malaysia, tolong jangan viralkan video, gambar-gambar mereka-mereka yang telah pun mengakhiri kehidupan. Suicide contagion, suicide copycats akan berlaku. It is very, very dangerous. Dan kepada rakan-rakan media yang sangat menyokong pihak MIASA, thank you very much. Saya sangat berharap kita dapat continue safe reporting. Saya nampak a lot of progress in the media sekarang ni, Alhamdulillah kan, Ustaz dan Dr. Hazli, ini adalah lagi satu silver liningnya. Media sendiri pun faham sekarang ni, jadi peranan media sangat penting dan sangat besar. So we continue to do our jobs responsibly, semua sekali, seluruh rakyat Malaysia, dan daripada situ insyaAllah kemenangan milik kita bersama.
Amin.
Amin. Thank you very much Ustaz. Thank you very much Dr. Hazli. Saya sudahi dengan wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Stay safe.